On the Business Courier front page centerpiece, we may know it as our hometown grocer, but Kroger is in fact the nation's largest operator of traditional supermarkets, and it's been on an amazing run. That confidence translates to CEO Rodney McMullen, who sat down with the Business Courier for a rare interview. On this week's front page, why this man isn't worried about Amazon. Powerhouse Amazon is expanding its ability to deliver groceries, raising a threat to Cincinnati-based Kroger. But McMullen says Kroger's focus on meeting the needs of customers keeps them coming back. Statistics show the company's strategy is working. Kroger's stock has more than tripled in the last 3 years. It has gained market share every year for more than a decade. It is trouncing rival Walmart. It is dominating the natural and organic foods market, and it's expanding its reach with acquisitions. Business Courier reporter Steve Watkins recently sat down with Kroger CEO Rodney McMullen at the Kroger Marketplace store in Oakley, the biggest of Kroger's nearly 3,000 stores. Steve is with Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio with more on what McMullen had to say. Steve and Rob.
Peg, thank you, and Steve, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
I'm guessing that there's nobody that has done more stories on Kroger than you. Anywhere in the world, and you've been covering it, and we've been working together for many, many years, but Kroger has never had made their CEO available for us to talk to, ever. And so this was kind of a big deal for us, just because they're right up the street, and you've written so many stories, but we never talked to him. So why did Rodney McMullen decide to do this?
It is a real big deal. He really hasn't done any interviews like this. The Kroger's people told us he's just settling into the position. Obviously, when he took over, he was very busy getting things settled and organized the way he wanted. That's probably part of it, but given the fact that he has been in the position for 2.5 years, there's probably a little more to that. He probably wants to get the word out a little more, and we have written a lot of stories about them, and I think he wants to get his face and his name out there a bit more, probably.
So a lot of the stories you've been writing over the last couple years have been very positive because they have been on a tear. With Amazon's new move with this Prime Now, which I've actually used a couple times on Sunday mornings when I don't feel like getting in the car to buy coffee and bacon and eggs and stuff like that, you know, I feel like that could be a real threat to Kroger, but what did he have to say about that?
Yeah, he's not worried about Amazon, at least not overtly. I'm sure he's paying very close attention to it. And you're right, a lot of people, it seems like it's a very convenient way to get your groceries and other items from the supermarket. But he's got a lot of things to point to. Peg mentioned in the opening, a lot of their market share is growing every year. Their same-store sales are growing. And he points to those kind of things. Also, they're very innovative, and they're on top of these trends. They've really expanded their customer online order and then pick up at the stores service. They've got that in dozens, I think a couple hundred stores actually now across the country. And they've even done some delivery. They have a test market in Denver where they've done that for years. And he told me he expects them to deliver more items to people across the chain at some point in time. He just doesn't know if it's going to be groceries or it's going to be more shelf-stable type items.
So he's been at Kroger for a very long time. How did he actually get his start with the company?
Well, he started when he was 18, stocking shelves, just like thousands of other people. Obviously, he rose pretty quickly. He told me a great story when he was younger. He was in his 20s. In the late 80s, Kroger had a couple of takeover attempts they had to fight off. Many people might remember that. He was very involved in handling the finances regarding how they were going to fend off this takeover, and he told me he worked with the 3 previous CEOs on that, Dave Dillon, Joe Pickler, and Lyle Everingham. And Everingham also started as a person who stocked shelves in a Kroger when he was young. And that gave Rodney McMullen the confidence to know that just because you started that low doesn't mean you can't be CEO, and that stuck with him.
It wasn't a pipe dream. Finally, before we wrap up very, very quickly, tell me the story about this cow that he sold.
How often do you get to talk about a CEO selling a cow? When he was 9 years old, he grew up on a family farm. His parents let him sell a cow by himself. Somebody came to the door. His grandparents said, "Why are you letting him sell the cow?" And he said, well, his dad said, he knows how much money we want to get for it. He sold it, and his dad said, "Hey, I would have taken even less for that. Good job." So that was his first foray into business.
That's great. It's a really good interview. You can read it in this week's paper, and Peg, back to you.
All right, Rob and Steve, thanks very much. Certainly a big story. Well, Kroger just broke ground on another marketplace store, this one in Union, Kentucky. It will give Kroger 12 marketplace stores in greater Cincinnati. The new Union location will replace a nearby smaller store and is expected to open early next year. In addition to traditional grocery items, the $20 million store will sell clothes, home decor items, bed and bath products, small appliances, and bulk foods.